Hello everyone, my name is Blessing Olaleye. I'm a DevOps engineer and a cloud solution architect. Today I'll be taking us through how to use Terraform provisionals to set up an Apache web server on AWS. So I already prepared our terminal and then I already log in with our user ID and the password on the terminal. And we also have our AWS management console open up already to see the effect of what we're going to be doing today. So the purpose of this session is to employ Terraform Professional to custom bootstrap a virtual machine in AWS and install a web server on it, and then we test that the web server is working as expected. So to do that, the first thing we're going to do after setting up our terminal is to clone Terraform code and switch to the proper directory. So we employ git clone, and then just to make our work easy, I already put up the appropriate so once that is done, we switch to the directory where the code is located, and that's we're going to cd to the directory. And also to make our work easier, we just copy the link for the directory and then come back to our terminal and just paste. Then so as you can see, we're already in the directory, so we can look into the directory and see what we have there and just list. So we have three files. We have main.tf, readme.md, setup.tf. So those are the three files we have and we actually need for this session. So let us examine the code in the main.tf, which is going to be one of the main file we're going to be using for this session. So we can look into our main.tf by just using the cat command, cat main.tf. So it's obvious. Examining this file, we can see the resource AWS underscore instance, that's a web server, and we can see the AMI is in data.aws blah blah blah. Then we have an instance type t3.micro key name. So we are creating an AWS EC2 instance virtual machine, which is called the web server. We're also passing a number of parameters for the resources, such as the AMI that the VM will be spun up as, the instance type, the private key that the instance will be using, the public IP attached to the instance, the security group applied to the instance, and the subnet ID where the VM will be spun up. So those are just the attributes of our virtual machine of our AWS instance. So one thing we should know is all these resources are actually being created via the setup.tf file, and we can see that by cutting into that file. Let us cut our setup.tf file so we can see how these resources were created. So we can see now the creation script for those resources. So create, that is the topic, and then this is the resource AWS subnet, availability zone, VPC IDs, CIDR block, then the security group creation, then the resources, just like that, So that is for that. So let us go back to examine the code in the provisional block and note the following. So we're going back to the to the professional block. So that is remote dash exec. So the remote dash exec keyword tell us that this is a remote provisioner which invoke a script on a remote resource after it is being created. The provisioner is using the parameter configured in the embedded connection block to connect to the AWS instance being created. The provisioner will then issue the command configured in the inline block to install Apache web server on CentOS through the yum package manager, start up the Apache server, create a single web page called my test website with help from Terraform provisioner as an index.html file, and move that file into the data directory of the web server to be served out globally. So we're going to see this once everything is done. After applying the Terraform apply command, so we're going to see the effect of this resource being on and the provisioner being employed. So let's just deploy the code and access the bootstrap web server. To do that, we actually have to employ at this point Terraform init to initialize the working directory and download the required provider, which is AWS. Terraform init. So we can see it's been initialized. It's ongoing already at the back end, so which is successful. So to validate the code, to look for any error and syntax parameters and attribute within a Terraform resource that may prevent it from being deployed, we just run a Terraform validate. This procedure is necessary to avoid wrongdoing during the process of this deployment. So Terraform validate. So we are successful. You see the configuration is valid. So we have a successful notification. So at this point, we are free to go ahead and run Terraform plan. Terraform plan. So we're going to be prompted. So we go with the Terraform plan. Is actually not applying anything at this point. It's just for us to be able to review resources that is going to be deployed once we apply the Terraform apply command. So at this point, we can easily go ahead and apply Terraform apply. So we're going to be prompted yes. Just put yes, nothing else but yes. Anything else is going to cancel the entire process. Enter. So now the code is being deployed. You can notice that the Terraform provisioner tries to connect to the EC2 instance, and once that connection is established, it will run the bootstrap that was configured in the provisioner block against the instance. So one thing that will be done after the process is complete is the output of the IP address for the Apache web server as the web server public IP value. So we can copy that into a browser and see. So we can see web server public IP. So we can just copy this and see this for ourselves as we paste this into a browser. then press enter. So my test website with help from Terraform provisioner, and at the same time we can go back into our AWS management console to see our EC2 instance being deployed. That is the beauty of infrastructure as code and employing Terraform for this purpose. And now, so let's just see what's a server in our EC2 instance. I mean, in our AWS management console. So that is Terraform controller instance summary, blah blah blah. So it's currently running. So we can see we can terminate this, and sorry, this is the instance that we are actually running. So we can see the IP address 54.196.227.94. So this is the same thing here. This is the same thing we put in the interface. So and this is the public IP4 address. This is the private address, and other attributes of the EC2 instance as we actually put in our initial file of its creation. Remember, I actually went through the setup.tf file with us, which contains most of these attributes, these parameters in this creation of the resources. So at this point, we can go back to our terminal and then just destroy our resources while running Terraform. Destroy command with an understanding that we are probably done with this, the usage of the EC2 instance for this purpose. And let us see how it's applied. Just remember that you don't have to run this if you are not ready to destroy your infrastructure that you have provided with Terraform, because it's probably not. It's most like it's not reversible. So just be very sure, because it's going to destroy your state file and every other creations you've done. So once I press enter, our EC2 instance is going to be terminated. So I need an approval. Yes, it's the only acceptable input at this point. So it's destroying. So it's gonna be destroyed in a few minutes. Then we can go back to our management console and see the effect of the Terraform destroy command. I'll also try to refresh the public IP before that was pasted on our browser to see how it's gonna work, or it's gonna stall, or probably not even have an effect at all. So destroy complete, resource 7 destroyed. So at this point, let's just try and refresh this and see if it's gonna work. we can see stalling. It's actually not the my internet connectivity. It's probably just it's showing us that let's just cancel this and paste the same public IP address again this time around and see what's gonna happen. So that is what is gonna happen. The IP before a public address is not longer valid, and we can also see the effect also here. Let's try and refresh and see the status of our EC2 instance from our AWS console. AWS console. You can see it's been now updated to terminated. You just come here. You can see terminated. So we don't have any information on the status check. It's not passing the status check right now, and it's actually terminated. So that comes to the end of our session for today. But before I leave, I want to give us a security tip. In the situation whereby you have to connect to, you don't have maybe your Wi-Fi, you don't have a Wi-Fi you have to connect to, and the only available Wi-Fi is on a free internet. I will advise us not to connect to it because it's a security threat to your entire system. I'm sure you know everything you are going to be doing most likely is going to be seen by folks on the network. So what are we supposed to do in such a situation? If you have your phone, you can probably just use your hotspot like I'm doing right now. It's probably just secure and the best way for you to transact, to work on the public internet for the safety of your projects, of anything you are transacting, of your system, of your physical machines and your virtual machines. But for stuff you store and stuff you are transacting is very, very safe in that means. So that is just my brief security tip for this session. Thank you once again for watching, and sure, hope to have another session with us again. Have a good one.